Hello, and welcome back to Life as Is. I am your host, Maddie Walsh, and this is a podcast filled with bite-sized conversations on all things self-improvement. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back to Life as Is. This is episode 4. And today we are going to be talking about journaling. I'm very excited about this one because journaling is one of my core habits, mechanisms, practices, whatever you want to call it, when it comes to mindfulness and well-being. So I'm really excited to share with you all about journaling and hopefully turn you on to it if you do not journal, or maybe even give you a fresh perspective if you are already a journaler yourself. So journaling, very simply put, is the action of putting your thoughts and your feelings, your plans, your goals, whatever's in your head and in your heart down on paper. And so there's many different mediums on which you can do this. You can do this on a physical paper. You can do it on the Notes app on your phone. You can type it in a Word doc, etc. There are also many ways to execute this. You can journal every day in terms of frequency. You can journal every week, every month, twice a year, whatever you want to do. In terms of length, you can journal a page each session, or you can journal 2 pages, 2 sentences, whatever feels best for you. And you can also organize it however you want. You can keep a normal kind of regular journal to just write whatever stuff you want in. You can also have maybe a bullet journal for more focused thoughts or random stuff. You can have a gratitude journal focused on gratitude, whatever works for you. So you might be already picking up on the theme here of this episode is that journaling can look different for everybody, and it really depends on the person and your schedule and your comfortability with journaling. So the purpose of this episode is not necessarily to put you in a box or tell you what kind of journaling works best, or the best way or the right way or the wrong way to do it, but it's simply to make you start thinking about journaling and all of the different ways that you can possibly get started or continue, and or to find possible outlets and practices that give you the benefits of journaling without having to write anything down if that's not your thing. But we'll get into that in the episode. So the first thing that I want to do is explain some benefits of journaling, and this is from me and my personal experience, and the first one is clarity. Journaling has brought me so much clarity in the years that I've been practicing it. We walk around with so many things flying around in our head that we don't even really realize the effect it can have on us sometimes. We're so used to keeping everything bottled up in that head of ours, confirmed by experiences and more thoughts, and we never really get to parse things out and get it out of our head. And this can cause us to feel confused about how we feel, confused about what to do next, etc. And so journaling really has helped me with this. Whatever I have going on, writing it down on paper allows me to see it from another perspective. And it lets me know what I'm truly feeling. And I might feel all jumbled up because my thoughts are going like a mile a minute. And journaling really takes those thoughts and allows me to, like I said, parse them out into digestible things so that I'm clear about what I'm feeling, what my thoughts are, what I want, what I don't want, all of that. And you might think you know how you feel, but seeing it down on paper brings a clarity that you have never experienced. I have had full-on epiphanies about my life and things about my relationships just by letting the pen flow and take me wherever it wants to. And these are epiphanies that I probably would not have had otherwise. The second benefit that I want to talk about is honesty. Journaling forces me to address my thoughts and how I'm feeling and how I'm treating others even, and it makes me see my actions and, like I said, my thoughts and my feelings from a more objective place. There is no hiding from seeing those things written down on paper for me. It makes things really real. And while sometimes that might be difficult or uncomfortable for me, it really forces me to take a look at my real life and address the thoughts and the habits in it. There is really no way that I can lie to myself when I journal because it all comes out and I see it as it is. And this is opposed to just thinking in our own heads. And I think in that medium, it's a lot easier to lie to ourselves. One, we never have to see it written down on paper. Two, even if we do know kind of deep down how we're feeling, how we're treating others, what we want to do next, it's a lot easier to push things under the rug when they're just flying around in our head. We can kind of ignore it. We can push it aside. We can tell ourselves kind of little lies to keep ourselves moving and keep ourselves not having to address those things and look them in the face. But there's something about something written down that makes it a lot more real, and it makes it a lot harder to hide from whatever truth you're carrying with you. The next benefit is decluttering. And this is just simply the feeling of having all of these thoughts and feelings and emotions and goals and plans, whatever you have in your head, the feeling of having all of that stuff somewhere other than in your head. It actually, for me, it clears up so much mental storage. It makes me feel lighter because I expressed myself, I have it in writing, I can come back to it whenever I want, but for now, I can close that journal and move forward. So it does feel, on top of the processing and the content, just in a format sense, it does feel like a decluttering practice to journal. The next benefit, which feels very important and sacred for me, is the alone time and the recharging that comes from journaling. It can be your time to really be by yourself and focus on yourself, think and focus on your own life, not on anyone else's. And so it's a good time to take stock and check in with yourself. The last benefit that I want to touch on, and this one is probably the most obvious when people think about journaling, and it's kind of the reason for journaling, but progress and self-development. Journaling can push your life forward and accelerate your progress in so many ways. It's like a mini therapy for me. It has strengthened my relationship with myself because when I journal, most of it's narrative, so I frame it as talking to myself. And so I have built this little world in my journal of trust and self-love. I talk to myself so nicely, and it feels like my own little safe space. I trust myself. I see her progress over time and the stuff that she's grappling with, and it makes me feel like almost a big sister to myself, like I'm reading it from the perspective of a loved one. And that, in turn, influences the way that I treat myself in the real world. She is just doing her best and trying to figure it out, and I give her space, I give her reassurance, I give her love. And so journaling for me really pushes my progress forward when it comes to self-love, self-development, all of that stuff. Next, I am going to share a few things about how I journal. Maybe it will inspire you to do the same. Maybe it will give you a reason not to do something that I do. Take what you want from this, but I just wanted to share the different ways that I get into journaling. So I have one regular journal. I call it like my regular journal. It's for everyday stuff, random feelings when something comes up, etc. This is what I do on average once or twice a week. It works for me as it just feels kind of like a brain dump. It's a free-flowing narrative. It doesn't really have any structure. I find myself writing, and I'll just keep writing and keep writing and keep writing. And then I also have what I call a bullet journal. I really don't know what the different types of journals are and what they're supposed to be used for. I call it a bullet journal because it's something that I use a little bit less frequently than my normal one. It's a smaller one in size. And this is for, the way that I've categorized it in my head is it is for more of the random stuff. If I feel a poem, I'm going to write poetry in there. If I have questions that I want to ponder with myself. So It's also not very structured. It's less narrative. It's more so when I'm feeling creative. So maybe if I have like a list of affirmations, it's just for things that are maybe shorter and also outside of the narrative structure. In terms of length, when it comes to my normal, regular journal, I get an average of 2 pages when I journal. Sometimes it's 4 pages, sometimes it's 3/4 of a page. It really just depends. And then the timeline, I've worked up to this, but I really do it whenever. I'd say average, I journal about twice a week. It has become a thing that I look forward to because I've seen all the benefits. It's not necessarily something that feels like a chore anymore, and journaling shouldn't feel like a chore. Journaling should make you feel better and calm and collected. It should bring you clarity. So I don't put a hard timeline on my journaling, but that's just because I've gotten to a place where I feel called to journal at certain times, and I don't have to really schedule it to want to pick up that pen and write. One thing I do want to point out while we're moving through this conversation is that journaling is not for everyone. I think that is fake news. Everyone takes care of themselves and regulates and expresses themselves in different ways. You can have multiple ways. I have multiple ways. And one of them does not have to be journaling. If you have tried it and given it a good shot and you absolutely hate it, then ditch it and move on. This episode is not to shame you if you don't want to journal or don't like it, but rather to inspire you to pick something that has these same benefits that works for you in your self-improvement journey. So if you like to record little vlogs for yourself, then do it. If you talk it out with a friend or a partner or a family member, do it. Journaling doesn't have to be the only thing that you do for self-care or regulation. For example, I love to dance. I love to be outside. I stretch. I cook. I have plenty of ways that I love to take care of myself outside of journaling. And journaling just happens to be something that has worked so well for me. But it's definitely not the only mechanism that I use. You can also find ways to get really creative and make journaling work for you, even if it's not the traditional pen to paper. If you don't like writing, like I said, you can make a vlog or you can make a voice note for yourself about these things. Figure out some way to get these benefits, even if traditional journaling is not your thing. Lastly, I want to give you some of my tips and tricks in terms of journaling. If you are somebody new who has never journaled before, this can help you, or say that you used to journal and have fallen off and you want to get back into it, or if you're just kind of hitting a journaling slump and you need to figure out a way to find that spark again, these ideally will help you do all of that. So first is to pick a timeline that is good for you. It might be difficult in the beginning to get into a rhythm, so you might have to be more specific with your scheduling. I've been journaling for a while, so I don't force myself to. It kind of comes up naturally for me to do it, like I feel called to do it. But if you aren't used to it, you might forget or naturally prioritize other things over journaling. So I'd recommend picking and sticking to a timeline. I'd pick a conservative timeline. So instead of, I've never journaled before and now I want to go straight into journaling every day, try every week, once a week. Pick your ideal and then go a little less frequently. Like all good habits, we start small, smaller than we even think, and then we build up from there. The second tip is for somebody who might have trouble starting to even write down their thoughts, or they don't know where to start, don't really know what to say or to talk about. And this is to start with prompts. If you are new to journaling, like I said, it might feel uncomfortable to just start writing about yourself and how you're feeling, what has gone on in your day and your life, etc. So we can start with prompts. I have some journaling categories that I thought about. I will also list them in the show notes for you to look at them after and use as a resource, but here's a preview. First category is relationship auditing. So the questions that I have are, what is my favorite part about this relationship? What is my least favorite part? Am I showing up in this relationship as my most authentic self? Is there anything I have not addressed or maybe swept under the rug in this relationship? The next category is career. What parts of my job are fulfilling? What parts of my job are tough or less fulfilling? What is my dream job? What do I want my career to look like in 2 years? The next prompt is based on values and identity. What are my 3 core values in life? What parts of my life reflect those values? How do I exercise those values in work, play, etc.? What can I do better to exercise and reflect those values? The next one is a daily or weekly reflection. How did my day start, or how did I feel when I started my day? How did I feel in the middle and in the end? Did I smile today, or did I laugh today? And the last category is gratitude. So, what fortune did I take for granted today? What is something that I appreciate in my life that I often don't take the time to acknowledge? What are 3 things that I love about my life? What went well for me this week? So these are a few prompts that you can use if you are having trouble starting. You can just write the prompt and then free flow it from there. Just write whatever comes to mind. If it takes you on a different track, that's good. That means everything is flowing and things are moving forward. It doesn't have to be strictly answering the question. You can just write and dump whatever comes up for you. The next tip I want to give is to take stock of how you feel after journaling. Often we are so go throughout the day and throughout the week that we don't take the time to ask ourselves how we're feeling. So when you journal, it's important to check in and see how that journaling has made you feel. Not only will this just generally improve your life and make you feel more present, but it will also make you more inclined to journal again because you will be actively focusing on the benefits of journaling as they arrive in real time. The next tip is to refrain from shame. And this is an important one because journaling is supposed to make you feel good. It's not supposed to make you feel like junk. Try not to hate on yourself for, say, forgetting to journal that one day or feeling guilty that you don't have a lot to say one day. This is supposed to make you feel better. Do what you can and just keep moving. You don't need to be a master poet, master journaler in order for this practice to make your life better. You just need to be someone that wants to express themselves and dive deeper into life and the feelings that come up for them. So try not to overthink the process because you will just stress yourself out even further, and that is antithetical to the practice of journaling. And the last tip is similar to the previous one, and that is to be patient with yourself. Habits take time to build, and you might not be feeling super into journaling at first, but the more you stick to things, the easier and more natural they become. So I'd challenge you to stick with it, especially in the beginning stages, even if you might not necessarily be feeling it at first. With my journaling journey, I wasn't always called to it like I am now. Sometimes I felt like it was a chore and I didn't look forward to doing it, but I knew it was good for me, so I kept with it. And now I find myself absolutely reaching for that journal. I wait and think about getting home so I can process my thoughts and feelings and get things down on paper. Wherever you are in your journey, in your journaling journey, in your JJ, I'm funny. Wherever you are in your journaling journey, I hope you take some of these things to heart, and I hope you find your way and you're able to try out journaling if you haven't before. And if it ends up that journaling is not for you, I hope you find something that gives you the benefits of journaling, because we all deserve to have an outlet and have a mechanism and a practice in which we process our feelings in the world around us. And so I hope you find something that allows you to check in with yourself in that way. And thank you for listening to this episode. I will see you next time. Thank you for listening and supporting the show. Please follow and download the podcast wherever you are listening. Leave a rating and review if you feel so called to. If you're listening on Spotify, feel free to leave a comment and some feedback about what you thought about this episode. As always, you guys got this. I am proud of you and keep going. I will see you in the next episode.